Good evening, YouTube. Welcome back to Play the Hits. We're picking up here with Final Fantasy IV right where we left off, only now I've got a fresh gin and tonic. How you doing, Nick?
Doing all right. I was gonna make myself a sandwich, then I remembered the lettuce would crunch, so I settled for eating this kiwi.
Oh, that works. Now you'll be all sticky, though.
Never had a straight kiwi before. No, if you use the knife correctly, your hands don't get sticky.
If you don't approach the situation like a bull in a china shop, Chris, you...
If you can wait a whole 5 seconds to get the thing in your mouth.
Well, la-di-da.
Savages.
By the way, I remembered the gin that I was drinking. It's Tanqueray. I enjoy a good gin, and so I always forget what's in my rotation at any given moment.
I legitimately forget what we need to do next.
Oh, all we do is just throw the magma key down into the thing. What the hell is a SWAT? Is that like a thought? Like that hoe over there?
A real SWAT?
SWAT. What could that stand for?
Swits? I mean...
Well, like I said, thought is that hoe over there, so what is SWAT?
Huh.
Shit weasel over there?
This has to be some sort of I don't know, I almost have to say it's a mistranslation. I'm pretty decent with my medieval insults. I've never heard.
I'm going with the abbreviation SWOT. Shit weasel over there.
I've heard a sod, but
yeah, sod.
Do you
I've
have
heard.
Magna Key yet, or
yep. Kane or Sid or someone MacGuffined it right into our inventory.
Okay, I thought you were supposed to like meet Sid in Baron Castle and get the crane to connect the hovercraft. No, that's later.
That is later, yeah.
Well, we're just gonna Pompeii this whole place, aren't we?
The lives of the villagers are forever changed.
Sacrificed for the greater good.
Yeah, right.
Doesn't this place turn red in the original?
Yes, briefly. Cecil's just out there yelling as like women are like searching frantically in the ruins of their homes for their babies. It was for the crystals!
Sometimes you have to sacrifice hundreds to save millions.
Stop crying!
Wait, isn't that what Ozymandias said? Killing millions to save billions?
Yes, that was a good line. Wow, this equipment is shitty. Which is kind of interesting because you can never get to this island before having the airship, so...
Well, I mean, this is one of the Final Fantasy games where you can just never quite buy everything you need.
Yeah, that's true.
Once.
Yeah, in fact, I think we've done our last major shopping. There's like one or two pieces... Oh, wait, no, that's not true. That's not true. We can buy the diamond gear once we get the airship that can travel over magma. But after that, yeah, there's really nothing to buy. Except for items, like endgame items, like elixirs and stuff.
And all the greatest stuff is on the moon that you earn anyways.
Right, yeah, that is...
God, how many episodes do you think it's going to take us to get to the moon?
You know, at the rate we're going, I mean, it'll probably...
I'm guessing 3.
Yeah, my guess is that this
I mean, are you going to get all the...
This whole series is going to be around the 15-episode mark, I'm guessing.
You going to get all the, beat all the optional bosses on the moon?
Oh, like for the character's ultimate gear?
Yeah, like Ogopogo and all
yeah,
those.
yeah. I don't really consider those optional.
Well, that'll be interesting.
Yeah. I will definitely...
But you're right, they are optional, but who's ever made it an option?
Right. I will definitely do a little off-camera grinding before we do the final dungeon. But, yeah. Just so that it's not over long.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's the thing about RPGs, especially older ones, you know, so much of the experience is just gaining levels, and so there's no reason to subject whatever limited audience we have to that. Speaking of which, I've noticed we've lost a subscriber, and I've got to be honest, like, I am just a little bit hurt. We went down from 22 to 21.
I mean, come on, didn't Trump lose about 1 million because they were bots?
Are you comparing us to Trump, though?
No, I'm just saying that maybe we all suffered a similar catastrophe.
Oh, one of our subscribers was just a bot?
Yeah, maybe. You know,
Man, those PS1 cinematics, man, I tell you.
trying to convince us to drink Monster Energy drink online, or during streams.
I was propositioned once on YouTube, but I'm pretty sure it was a Russian hooker. Well, it was only Cecil.
Cecil, quit being so dramatic.
Everyone is literally just standing there, like, not helping him. He's just out. Oh, that was hilarious. Like, usually it's the whole party is down, right? But that time, just Cecil face planted into the deck. Oh,
you don't realize he's got a horrific concussion now.
Right. Oh, God.
Like, everything from here on is just a big hallucination for him. He's actually in a wheelchair in a corner back in his room in Barren.
Right.
Giant of Babel is just outside, just lasering everything.
Right. You know, if we were actually going to go for the GBA exclusive endgame dungeons in this playthrough, I might think twice about unequipping all that stuff from Sid, but I think we're okay.
What do you mean?
So like you get the characters back in your party, or you can put them back in your party after you beat Zeramis for the first time, right? But It just dawned on me the way that I'm doing it, they would all have no equipment. But I don't really care because I just want to go through the main story for play the hits. Let's see here. We just bought a whole bunch of shit there. I can't go down to the equipment salesperson until I talk to Guyot. And there he is. He looks a little different.
Yeah, he's the Red Ranger. And he's got the longest beard, which I guess Tolkien has established is important to dwarves.
Yeah, it's some kind of sex metaphor. I don't pretend to understand dwarven culture.
No, I've never picked up on that. I always assumed it had something to do with the hammers, but...
Well, you know what they say about a big beard? Big hammer. You know what they say about a big hammer? Big gloves.
Good provider?
Right.
God, remember in 2016 when the Republican presidential debates devolved into talking about whose hands were the biggest?
Yeah, right. And I assure you, nothing down there has any issues, believe me. Yeah, we'll take your word for it, Donnie. Good God.
I remember just sitting there playing Phantom Menace, the Phantom Pain, thinking, wow. What are the chances of this clown becoming president?
I actually remember sitting there thinking, I should run for president just to put a fucking
This is where the bar is at this point.
Yeah, right. Like I could leap over the fucking bar they're setting. You know, I look positively professional. Also, how the fuck did Yang know about that? You mean to tell me
he's got mystical Eastern powers?
Yeah, right.
From the East. Is it racist?
No, his castle is in the East. You're not wrong.
If it's made by a Japanese company and it's got stereotypes?
I'm still trying to figure out his shoulders, truth be told. I can barely focus on the thin racism.
I've never quite okay, just about everybody but Yang has just got those ridiculous spike shoulder pads.
Yeah, they do, don't they?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great, like, in the after years, everyone else has aged and matured. Yang just put a pair of pauldrons on with spikes. That's the only difference.
I mean, that is not the attire of a peaceful kingdom.
No. Also, in what, like... How does that help anyone? Like, do you, like, shoulder ram a lot of people as part of combat in this world? Is that, like a big thing? There's, like, a whole shoulder-centric martial arts?
Not according to any anime I've ever seen.
Yeah, no. If anything, they tend to stop swords with one finger, but... Oh, Calcabrina.
Spirit energy is incredible.
My God, his power levels are off the chart. We better talk about it for 3 episodes.
Oh God, every anime I watched while in college.
Yeah, you know, there was a long time there where I really didn't watch a lot of anime because it was all that kind of that same flavor, like Shonen Jump style animes. You know, like
it was all Shonen Jump. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was like always a million different characters and a million different power levels, and I couldn't get invested enough to really care about any of it.
Well, you had your Bleach, your Naruto, and your One Piece, and it was all the same damn show.
Well, right, and then that's kind of exactly what I was thinking. It was really, I mean, there was more characters than you could ever hope to follow, more like side plot lines and new secret techniques that were supposed to change the balance of the entire universe for 3 episodes.
And then after a couple of years, you forgot what the main MacGuffin or the main point of the series was.
Yeah,
Who
right.
are we
Like,
fighting? What's going on?
like, okay, so I'm not asking this with any irony whatsoever. Who is the fucking actual villain in Bleach? Was it Aizen? Or did they just like straight up forget about him? Did they like ever actually engage with him?
Well, I mean, there was a lot of filler between the beginning and the end. I mean, Aizen, I guess, was considered the end of the first major story arc of that anime.
Okay, so
before
he
it
wasn't like the
absolute
be-all,
crap.
end-all villain.
No, I mean, he was. We'll put it that way.
Okay, because I pretty much stopped watching when they like completely ignored the like world-shattering crisis and decided to take on a bunch of vampires.
Right, yeah. That happened a couple times before they finally returned. Did they, like, take a trip down to Mexico, too, at one point?
I don't know.
Well, I'm sorry, that was just Waco Mundo, if I remember correctly. But this is bringing back
Waco
memories of
Mundo.
college.
Like Waco, Texas? Oh my god. Yeah, there's definitely a crisis here that could use some solving, guys, but I'm not sure we're the right people to deal with it.
I was here the whole time. Yeah, I loved after 10 years of build-up, Aizen just goes down like a chump because Ichigo figured out some sort of loophole that, like, allowed him to train infinitely or something.
Oh god. Can we just focus here on Golbez for a second? Surprise, douchebags!
I've already got most of these crystals.
Well, why is he even stringing us along at this point? If he can just walk into any given room and take its goddamn crystal, what's he need us for?
Remember your first encounter with him when he just shoved you all aside and electrocuted your party? Remember
Yeah,
those days?
those were simpler times.
Maybe you're getting stronger and he's just not training at all.
I like how we beat him here, and it's not even like, it was my shadow that you were fighting the whole time. Open your eyes and gaze upon true terror. Krang, my body.
Yeah, then we're gonna give you that one.
Oop. And down goes Kane. I like Kane's death spray too.
Shit!
It kind of looks like he doesn't want to get out of bed. Kane, quick, get up. I'll fucking get up when I'm ready to get up.
I love that attack, Radiant Breath.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I'm just trying to figure out like what Radiant Breath looks like. Like it's just a whole prism of light firing
I was gonna
out of
say, it sounds like a really great bubblegum, doesn't it?
It does.
Fresh goes better, radiant breath. That was just Mentos, wasn't it?
That voice, it could only be Stripperella.
Stripperella, yeah. Dude, Rydia was my original, like, Final Fantasy porn fixation. Back in the 90s. You see some artwork of Rydia, it'll stir up feelings in your 12-year-old brain.
I always thought that her SNES sprite just looked really strange. Was that just me?
It was a lot of green.
It's like, yeah. She also looked like really old in that sprite too, if I remember correct.
Did she? I didn't pick up on that,
yeah.
but
Like, yeah. Well, we'll see what her character portrait looks like after this is over. Was it just me, or this part always feel more white knuckle than I thought it actually was?
yeah, maybe. Oh, I'm about to die, so... oh, no, we're okay.
Hey, Duncan, could you stop violently licking yourself, please?
I like how Golbez is wasting his time with Meteor and the crystals, when apparently there's like a whole civilization of people that can summon gods to fucking wreck your shit.
Oh, see, now I would have spent all of my time curing everybody as opposed to just going for the kill.
Yeah, no, I just go for it. Guys, should we make sure he's dead? Nah, look at him.
Finish him off. Yeah, her character sprite looked like she was like 50 back on the SNES version.
Oh, really?
Rosie, or Rydia, you've aged horribly.
But guys, seriously, Golbez, look, he's learned his lesson. I'm sure of it. Well, that explains why your appearance has changed.
Yeah, now she's legal, everybody.
Yeah, right. Actually, I think still she's only like 17. Like, just barely. Like, she's ultimate jailbait at this point. But seriously, like, how do you reconcile that? Like, all of a sudden, your 10-year-old brain is trapped in the body of, like, a voluptuous woman, and so you immediately wear, like, the plungingest neckline you can find.
Well, I mean, time moves slower in the Esperland, right? So technically she's 18?
Oh, sure. I don't pretend to understand it, Nick.
Well, now, here's the thing is that...
Why did they fucking try to leave the room?
They were on their way out of the room. They're just going to leave the corpse rotting in there with the crystal.
Yeah, with the crystal. And then what the fuck is... What the zombie-loving shit is this shit? I mean, come on.
Cecil, we should probably... No. Let's see where he's going with this.
Hold on. Well, at least here he tries. In the SNES version, he didn't even do that.
Oh, he just took it.
Yep. Huh. I mean, I love this game dearly. That is the most fucking contrived plot point I think it was. Like, how do you explain that to the king? Like, we've known each other for 10 minutes. You've entrusted me with your kingdom's greatest treasure. Yeah, I gotta be honest. I fucking fell asleep at the wheel back there, guy, and I don't know what happened.
The king was freaking 10 feet away. He could have helped.
I've got to be honest. I was eyeball deep in Rydia's cleavage when it happened. I mean, can you blame me? Guys, look at her. Look at her. Can you blame me? All the dwarves are like checking Rydia. He's right. Yeah, all is forgiven.
The point I was working towards is that if you take that argument to its logical conclusion about Rydia, I always thought that if you stayed in the Esper world too long, your characters would get really old too.
Wouldn't that be hilarious? Like, octogenarian Cecil taking on Zemus. All right, you son of a bitch. Get off my porch. And by porch, I mean planet. And by planet, I mean I have to pee first.
Or wait a sec, or would they be the normal age, and then Golbez would be really old?
They come out and the world has just aged drastically around them. No, that's definitely not how it works.
Has claimed most of the inhabitants.
Right.
Oh, okay. I am reading Metro 2030, so maybe that's.
Oh yeah, I forgot those were books.
Yeah, they started as books.
Yeah.
Funny enough.
I've always just thought of them as video games.
They had a canceled movie that they were going to do, but in typical American fashion, they wanted to Americanize it and have it be in Washington D.C.
Of course, because nothing is interesting unless it's at the nation's capital, right?
Well, it was actually there was the
heart of New York or something.
There was some really funny kind of like cultural misunderstanding. They were going to make the movie, and then it didn't happen, so the rights reverted back to the writer of the book. He said, thank God that didn't get written.
Nice.
Apparently it was going to take place in Washington, D.C., and the main villains of the book are called the Dark Ones, and he's like, he said something along the lines of, look, there's a lot of black people in D.C. I don't think this is correct. And I remember thinking to myself... because he said, like, there's a lot of black people in the city, and it's already, like, a dark city. And I was just kind of reading that. I was like, huh. Is this racist? Is this racist?
It's not racist. We're not giving you an axe, Kane. We'll give you that sweet flame lance, though.
Yeah, she definitely looks... Wasn't she wearing, like, a one-piece leotard or something when she was in her original...
Yeah, it's still a leotard.
No, oh, okay, that's a belt.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's not a. Well, no, you're right. It's yellow. That's a belt.
Yeah, confusing.
Yeah, hey, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Okay, so we just got some arrows. Tight.
Still using the great bow, not the mediocre bow, not the okay bow.
The functional bow.
Or wait a sec, were the Hell Claws originally the Coral Claws? No, we have those already, right?
I don't know. I don't actually know. Damn, son, we're rolling in the money now. Wait, was that ice armor? What did I just sell?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, I mean it's the underground. You'll get more.
It sure as shit wasn't ice armor.
I mean, Cecil should still be wearing that, shouldn't he?
No, I've only got fire stuff so far, which is why I know that wasn't ice anything.
Well, wait a sec. Yeah, you get the fire armor. You don't get the ice armor to the Babel.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
So let's see here. Damn, 30,000. I might just wait out that ice armor and give Kane the old fire armor.
Yeah, I was gonna say, for the love of God, quit feeding Cecil's shopping addiction. Just take that 30,000 and spread it out in accessories and hats.
Oh, nice. I'm not gonna bother with that for Yang. Though, you know, I can't afford it. What the hell else am I gonna use it for?
So, in other news, I found out that apparently you can get books on CD from libraries for free.
Yeah, that's always a nice thing. And then you can just pop them right in your computer and they're yours forever.
Yeah, that's actually funny because they're a ton easier to utilize than actual digital downloads. Because you can set those, like the library can set those to delete after a set amount of time, but yeah, if it comes off a CD, you got that puppy forever.
Yep, that's exactly right. And no one's stopping you.
Started reading a new book series recently called The Black Company. Are you familiar with it?
Is it a slave thing or a magic thing?
It's a magic thing.
Okay.
It was basically, I don't really want to say this, but it was like Game of Thrones-esque before Game of Thrones came along in 1996.
Before The Witcher did it?
Well, The Witcher was even later. I mean, Game of Thrones was in 1996. Witcher was in early 2000s.
Really? I thought it was like the early 90s.
No, it was late 90s. The Witcher series is not as I think it is. I remember looking this up at one point.
Really? I always thought the original Witcher dated back to like the early 90s or late 80s. Huh. I'm a crazy person, apparently.
Well, let's... Ow.
I was going to say, at this point now, we're looking it up.
Yeah, I have to know this, because, like I said, it's not nearly as old as we think.
Let's beat the fuck out of one of the game's developers. That can't be good for the set-in-stone universe here.
Yeah, I gotta say, I never liked the first Witcher book.
It did move very slowly.
Yeah. Really no build-up. You know, you just kind of... And then they had that whole plot line of Ciri with, like, being possessed, and then they just decided to get rid of that in the second book.
I was gonna say, I really thought the whole build-up in the first book was just to Geralt actually getting some sex. Like, that felt like pardon the double entendre here, the real climax of the book.
Who was,
I forget, just some rando, like, nurse or something, but...
Oh, it was, Shani.
There it is. Was it?
Yeah, and she was in, the Blood of... The Heart of Stones DLC.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was her, though.
Okay, it was published in 1994.
Oh, okay, so I wasn't that far off.
It does have a couple of years on, it does have a couple of years on Game of Thrones, but we also didn't get the English editions until...
Yeah, I was gonna say, what we have to remember about The Witcher is that even though it was well received in its, country of origin, it was largely unknown across the Atlantic until the video game came out.
Yeah. No matter what the original author, says about it.
Oh, yeah, don't get me started. Like, I just... his whole attitude just bothers me. Like, I know that technically he's not doing anything illegal, but the whole, like, hey, I changed my mind, give me some money, I don't know, it just disillusioned me. It's kind of like don't meet your heroes, don't follow your heroes' lawsuits, Do
you think you could do the same thing if rattling a couple cages would get you $20 million?
I certainly would. Doesn't mean I have to find... It doesn't mean that I'm going to say it's a noble pursuit, though.
Yeah, for me it proved a theory that I can indeed enjoy someone's work separate from the personality of the person that makes it.
It would kind of be... Oh, yeah, certainly. It would kind of be like...
Minecraft, for example.
Yeah. It would kind of be like all of a sudden, we've talked about... Play the Hits is just this hobby channel of ours. It's really just a journal. And then all of a sudden we get like 1 million subscribers. And I'm like, oh, hey, by the way, Nick, I'm monetizing this shit and you're getting nothing.
Yeah, right. But anywho,
if we ever got in a position where we could monetize, I just split everything like between the four of us.
Hear that, Rex? You're not getting anything. Oh, I swear to God!
He said the four of us. I assume he meant you, Knuckles, himself, and me. That is what you meant, right, Chris?
Rex is bad with money. I'll take that.
Hey, I've made some pretty shrewd investments. You know, what do the kids like today? You know, the Nickelodeon, people investing in the Nickelodeon.
And Bitcoin.
Knuckles just puts all of his money into he just hands his lawyer like a note scribbled on a napkin that says, I, Knuckles, do hereby invest the sum of $2.5 million into the Nickelodeon, Bitcoin, and some bubbly gum. He writes in parentheses, I don't give a shit what kind.
Preferably Big League Chew.
Now go out and make me some money. Knuckles, were you drunk when you wrote this? What the fuck does that matter to you?
Hey, do you need to see the big chocobo for anything?
Nah, we're good. Unless he wants my copy of Lustful Lali-Oh. Wow, look at the description here. Cecil's just a perv. That's great.
One of Cecil's favorite. That's,
God, Cecil just loves dwarf porn. Like, right in the middle.
That's true. That's what it has to be, is
right?
Dwarf porn.
This is what I call great literature. He just spanks it in the hotel lobby and everyone's just watching. I don't give a fuck. I'm saving the world.
Oh, gosh.
And what's really great is apparently the magazine was so damaged by whatever he did that it can't be used a second time.
I mean, I'm pretty sure pornography is reusable, right?
Not the way Cecil uses it. God.
I'm sorry, you have looked at this picture the maximum amount of 10 times.
Oh God, he did more than look at it. Yeah, that's worth it.
Yeah, so anyways, like I was saying, I had gone back and I had started reading this other series on Joseph's recommendation called The Black Company, and that dates all the way back to 1984.
Really?
Yeah, like surprisingly, really kind of set the bar low as far as how dark fantasy could go.
Huh.
The writing style's a little bit sparse, but yeah, it's plenty dark. I was surprised and pleasantly so.
I was gonna say,
because like.
Go ahead, you first.
The further back you go when you're reading, like once you get past, get back past the 80s, I mean, you kind of have that like faux civility that was expected. I mean, not even Game of Thrones would use the F word or anything like that. I mean, there wasn't even, I think, any real sex in the first Game of Thrones
and
novel.
It could get pretty campy too, yeah.
Yeah, but no, this book was going full bore, and I was like, man, when was this written? 1984? What?
Huh. Well, what I was going to say is you want to talk about dark. We just realized that the savior of the world in this game has a very perverse affection for dwarf porn. The Lustful Lali-Oh-No. Will these guys wipe me out?
There's no monster in that box anyways. It's just a cottage.
Oh, you're right. I'm thinking of a different... Oh, I'm thinking of Below Eblin Castle.
Yeah, well, everything in that castle is a monster, so...
Yeah, that would wipe me out. But we didn't go there yet, so we're good. Lustful Lali-Oh-No.
I was gonna say,
oh, God.
At this point, Cecil's already pretty wiped out if... Yeah, anyways.
Guys, Cecil's not doing much in this fight. Yeah, he's pretty well spent. I didn't have to pay for that in at all.
Duncan, could you stick your head back in the window, please?
Hey, can you stick your head up your own... I'm sorry, Nick. I've had a rough day.
All that eating and sleeping.
All that eating and sleeping and pooping. You know how it is.
I finally got a chance to go outside today and start de-weeding the garden.
Oh, nice. We actually just did some major landscaping for our backyard this last week.
I'm trying to picture what your backyard looks like because I'm getting the backyard in my mental picture from your old house.
Yeah, so this was the one. It's kind of just a long strip, but the previous occupants had a ton of like limestone pebbles back there that just like decomposed under the rain, and the ones that weren't decomposed just fucked up my lawnmower blades.
Ooh,
so
I hope that doesn't raise the pH of the ground too much.
Oh, you bet it did. The landscaper who hauled them away even said they did.
Yeah, you might as well have just dumped salt all over the ground at that rate.
Yeah, so what we did was we built a bunch of raised beds, planted a ton of soil in them, and just planted the new flowers and veggies and stuff in that.
That's the best way to go.
Yeah, so we have 2 very lovely raised beds now, which a tremendous improvement over the last season. Did Rosie just shoot the goblin captain in the eye?
Were all 4 of those goblins captains?
Yeah, I know. Who's the actual captain?
Yeah, I mean, if everyone's a captain, no one's a captain.
None of them are particularly competent, so the real captain just assigns the title captain to everybody. So
That's
there's
the
no,
armadillo who's really in charge here.
It's really good for morale, believe me. I mean, yeah, it's stupid, but they seem to like it, so...
It works. So, what's your opinion on this, what's your opinion on Will Smith as the genie in the upcoming Aladdin movie?
I know exactly what you're talking about, but in my brain, I for some reason pictured Will Ferrell as the genie, and now I can't stop wishing for it.
And now I think it actually happens.
Wouldn't that be the greatest, actually, when you think about it? Will Ferrell is the fucking genie in Aladdin?
I do feel like Will Ferrell's only ever had one good role, and that was Ron Burgundy.
Yeah, but that's how he could play the genie. It's this drunken, schlocky mess.
I could see that, but I am kind of excited about seeing Will Smith kind of do a return to form. I guess he originally wanted to be the genie the first time around.
Oh, really?
And then Robin Williams got it, and yeah. Well, I mean, which was great. And then Robin Williams, well, you know the whole story behind that, right?
About his role as the genie?
Yeah, I mean, there was,
actually.
So, if I remember correctly, okay, there's a lot to it. So he took that role because he wanted to make a movie that he could watch with his kids. And because of that, he took a really low paycheck. That's why the movie had a lot of extra money for, like, CG and stuff like that.
I gotcha.
Now, the thing was, is Robin Williams was trying to start his serious movie career. So he was like, okay, I don't want you guys to be advertising this like, here's Robin Williams doing another silly movie. I've got a really professional film coming out called 1 Hour Photo. It's gonna be a thing.
To which the Disney director rolled up a thing of money and snorted a line of coke and made the most Robin Williams centric commercial he could think of.
Yeah, and that's essentially what happened. And Robin Williams was like, "All right, that was fun, but I'm not doing it again."
Starring Who Gives a Fuck as Aladdin, as Mork as the genie. Yeah.
Oh, you know who got the role as the genie, right? Afterwards? In 2-3 in the animated series, Homer Simpson's voice.
Oh, Hank Azaria?
Yeah.
I can see that.
He also voiced him for Kingdom Hearts as well.
I can see that too, yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, definitely while playing Kingdom Hearts, there's a lot of times where you can kind of hear the genie's voice pop in that very way, pop in a way that's similar to like Homer's voice would pop.
I did wonder why he kept yelling out "dough."
That's what I was waiting for.
Oh, do. What was that episode where they had like all those people?
Oh. No, he doesn't say Bo. He says dough. What's the thing with this Homer bloke? Has he got some sort of brain damage?
That's right. What were they playing him for? Like, what was the context?
They were trying to convince Bart that his family didn't love him anymore because I think Mr. Burns was trying to make him his heir. And he's like, your family doesn't care about you. Look what's going on right now.
Oh, that's right. And they had like all these act stand-ins. That's right.
Yep.
Do. Hans Molman. That was great. What a timeless 4 seasons and then a strange show that turned out to be.
Still going.
Yeah.
Strangely enough.
You know, every once in a while, they will still, like, just recapture some of that old magic. I mean, it's granted few and far between, but...
A stopped clock is right twice a day. You throw enough spaghetti against the wall and you get a metaphor that works.
I don't know what you just said, but I like it.
Well, I was going to say, you throw enough spaghetti against the wall, something's going to stick.
Yeah, right. But, I mean, there was, like, 10 other metaphors, and they all worked, but holy damn.
I notice I tend to deal in metaphors. Did I tell... So I told you about my new job, and
Yes.
Whoa, why is he turning colors? Oh, he must have been poisoned. Paralyzed.
Oh my god, we've done everything to this poor creature. Dear Lord.
So, anyways,
that thing didn't just die, it suffered. Sorry, go on.
Yesterday at my new job, I was wandering around the plants, and I was just kind of doing a meet and greet with people because I was, one, sick of sitting at my desk. Two, I wanted to start putting some names to faces. And so I was going around greeting people, and someone had said, "You know something, I'm really glad you came out here. You're a lot less intimidating when you're not in your office." And I said, "Why? What was I doing that was wrong in my office?" He's like, "Well, I walked in there to hand you our rent for the month, and you just kind of sat there and looked at me over your glasses with a displeased look, and your fingers were dented."
You're giving off some real Mr. Burns vibes, huh?
And I had to think on it. I was like, oh yeah, that's when I was trying to figure out the payroll problem. Yeah, I probably looked really irritated. But it was funny because I realized I was falling into these two personalities. Either I was laughing and very jovial, or I was very, very, very somber and serious.
Well, anyway, what's your name? I'm Sam. Oh, I'm gonna call you Toby. Sir? Shut up, Toby.
Yeah, it's a fun office. Fun little office to work at.
That's good.
My supervisor has a 1,000-yard stare. I'm pretty sure he's seen some things.
Like 1,000-yard stares and he just lets you kind of manage yourself, or,
1,000-yard stare, like nothing I say seems to invoke anything emotionally in this gentleman. Like he's seen it all and there's nothing that I can say that will change anything.
Sir, we've got a situation in the lobby involving a raccoon and what looks like a, loaded nuclear warhead of some kind. Well,
I mean, I remember...
I'm sure you guys will handle it.
I remember telling him rather gleefully that one of our big accounts came in and we just got a $60,000 check, and he just kind of looked and asked, "Well, did you record it in QuickBooks?" Yeah, of course I did. All right, then.
His eyebrow pops up and he uses a finger to push it back down.
Sorry for flying off the handle like that.
Right.
Not sure what came over me.
The only thing that could be better than that is if you worked with the 80s business guy from Futurama.
Yeah, right? Well, these guys are giving you a real pounding.
Yeah.
Well, never mind.
I don't have the ice brand yet, so it's kind of flying by the seat of our pants until we figure that out.
Kane really looks like he's faking it there.
Yeah, Kane is... I still love his...
Oh, it hurts so much.
You guys, I'm gonna have to sit this one out. It's just... Oh, shit. Well, Cecil just missed out on a boatload of
Guys,
EXP.
our tank just tanked.
Guys, Cecil won't stop puking blood. Is that a problem? I'll be fine in an hour.
I guess we really should have bought some Phoenix Downs. Nice, cheap
I
fishing.
did, but I just don't want to use them yet because Rosa's rolling an MP.
Yeah, she is a little bit more reliable than
Yeah, we're not
Tella.
sponging Tella's MP anymore. Here
now,
we go.
if I remember correctly, Radia doesn't have white magic anymore. What's the trick to this guy?
Just...
Oh, he doesn't summon until you hit him.
Correct.
So you want to hit him very hard.
Like so. Oh, these guys suck.
Yeah, they're not fun.
Because they can do that, like, flame spell that just wrecks your shit.
Blaze.
Yeah, Blaze.
Yeah.
It'll either wreck your shit or do nothing. And there's not, like, a whole lot of in-between. I'm pretty sure Thunder heals him, so, shit.
Yeah, I'm not sure why we went that route, but...
I just like Rama. He's just an angry old man. Yep.
Yep, okay.
Well, at least I hadn't done any damage to him yet, so... Still a waste of MP.
That's a lot of heads for that torso.
Son of a fuck. Yeah, see? It either misses or it takes out like 300 HP. Alright. That's enough.
Stop doing that now.
Yep. Anytime you want. There we go. Well, at least it doesn't have a lot of HP. There's the ice brand.
Okay, good.
That's the end of this dungeon.
The tables begin to turn rapidly here.
Correct. Man, Yang took it. Damn it.
More of these black lizards.
I like how some enemies have like really obscure mythological names, and other one just fucking black lizard. Red possum.
It's like the Tolkien kind of dichotomy. Sometimes you get a name like Edragon, which is the name for fire in the imaginary language I made.
Yeah, right.
And then you get Treebeard.
Yep.
Because he's a tree with a beard.
Goes, look, his fucking beard's a tree.
You know, that reminds me, I ended up watching Goodfellas over Mother's Day as my present to my mother. Have you ever seen Goodfellas?
Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci. Yeah. So it's one of the few that's one of the few movies in general I watch over. I don't remember much of it, but I remember liking it when I saw it.
It was kind of what's the word? I don't want to say generic, but kind of unremarkable. Just kind of like a day in the life.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't as impactful as Godfather. It wasn't a grand epic.
Yeah. It kind of. I think I remember it came out around the same time. Oh damn! It came out around the same time as Casino, and I enjoyed that a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically the same cast too, which is always fun. Like the guys they get for every mob movie.
Yeah, well that was the standard rotation for a while.
Yeah.
It's always nice to see just to let like I know for Goodfellas in particular, they let Joe Pesci just ad-lib a lot of his stuff.
Yeah, and he was really good at it too. Like, you know, that was kind of the dream. Like you said, it was kind of the standard rotation. You had Joe Pesci, you had Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, and the dad from Everybody Loves Raymond for some reason. Crap, what was his name? Peter Boyle.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was Ray Romano for a moment, and I was really confused.
No, Ray Romano, I think, was just a little too young at that point to... Well, I guess he probably could have been like the new guy in one of the movies. But
oh, hello.
We're going to be just fine.
I don't remember this formation. Yeah, they're going to go down quick.
Yeah. Kane just one-hit KO'd one of them. Oh, shit, though. All right.
Who just stored the energy? Not Yang, he's dead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Do it again.
Have you ever cast Pig, I wonder?
Only to cure Pig.
Yeah, there you go. Only to unpig.
Only to unpig. I'm never the one doing the pigging.
Toad at least has the purpose of being used in that one cave in the underworld.
Oh yeah, where you can fuck with that sorceress. Dude,
right.
Bio, that is Rydia's bread and butter until you get Bahamut. But Bio is a strangely broken spell in this game.
Is it? I remember you can bounce it for some pretty powerful effects.
Yeah, let's keep using the potions after my HP is full. Good job, Chris. Why do they let you do that?
Is Bio an area effect, or is it a single effect? I forget.
I think it can be area.
Then, yeah, I think you're right. It would be a little too broken.
Hey, no, you're right. There's the cat claws. What were the hell claws called? I think you're right. I think they were the coral claws.
Yeah. Coral or something... No...
I don't remember.
Does it mean devil or something? Because I think this goes back to the whole fiasco with naming Piccolo in Dragon Ball for American audiences. Because I think his name originally was Petite Coral, and I think that basically translated to Tiny Satan. So instead they started calling him just Piccolo instead. I think.
Wasn't there a character in there also called Mr. Satan?
Straight up named Mr. Satan.
Yeah.
Yes. Not Satan, just Satan.
Right, there wasn't even any wordplay. It was just Mr. Satan, which apparently does not have anywhere near the same meaning in Japan as it does here.
Go figure.
And it's not like it's a swear word. It's just like, why would you name a fucking, like, normal man Satan? Did I get that treasure chest? God damn it.
To be edgy, naturally.
Yeah, I did.
Well, I mean, I guess if you're, like, looking for a full explanation, I mean, he does try to prop himself up as, like, this incredible badass, but he's a total fraud, so Satan seems just edgy enough for what they were trying to go with that joke.
I see. Get him, young. Damn.
Maybe it purpled him.
Purpled him right in the face. All right, now we're gonna start running into some MP problems again here.
Speaking of being purpled, Jiminy Cricket, I just want to timestamp this episode for posterity.
Yeah.
So we are currently 2 years into the Trump presidency, and this week
I hadn't noticed.
We managed to almost ban abortion. The president threatened to essentially make the children of gay couples non-citizens, and immigrants, after being processed, are planning to be bussed all around the country to drop them off in sanctuary cities out of spite.
Yeah, this has been quite a week.
This is where we are. Jiminy Crickets.
Meanwhile, absolutely nothing fucking happened to William Barr. Contempt of court, maybe if he weren't so rich and white.
I mean, if the Democrats didn't threaten to jail everybody for everything, you know. That's
but they
the
gotta
thing.
follow through on one of them. My God.
Chris, look who we're talking about here. This is the same party that's fielding 24 people for the presidential run right now.
I could not be any more pissed about that. Like,
You
it's
know,
just a fucking joke.
If they were really smart, they'd start forming coalitions. You know, like Cory Booker would say, okay, Kamala Harris will be my Secretary of the Interior. But no, everyone's got to try to take the Iron
Yeah,
Throne.
everyone wants to be the anti-Trump messiah, you know? It's just...
And that's the thing, like, I've not really heard anything interesting from anybody aside from I'm not Trump.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like, who's that Asian guy that's running? And I'm sorry to say it like that, but you know what I mean, right? He's like, his whole, like, introductory speech was, what's more anti-Trump than an Asian man? You know, it's like, what? But, like...
Oh, God.
What else you got? I mean...
Yeah, you're right. I can't even remember the name, and I was doing pretty good with these people in the veritable Guess Who.
Yeah, I was going to say, I kind of lost it around, you know, candidate number 40.
Wasn't it David Wu?
Yeah, something like that. Maybe Peter Wu? I think you're right on the Wu.
I think, obviously... Everyone is doing this so they can boost their appearance fees next time they give a speech somewhere.
Right. So like, even if you drop out 2 months in, you were a Democratic candidate for president in a transformative election. Every time you do an interview on CNN, former presidential candidates. Good lord, did even Bill de Blasio get in on that? I don't know.
Wasn't he busy being mayor of New
York? Oh, yeah, that's right. And his candidacy was widely... rejected and panned by everybody on both sides of the aisle. Oh, man.
Almost as much as when the CEO of Starbucks was tampering with the idea of running.
Yep, pretty much. That was actually another one of my favorite Simpsons bits when President Bush was on, and they kept calling him former Vice President George Bush. Oh, that was so great. Look, it's former Vice President George Bush. It took me years to get why that was funny, too, because...
Isn't that the best part of The Simpsons?
Yeah. Like, when you're a kid, you don't know.
Every now and then, one of those jokes will just pop, and you're like, oh, I didn't get that as a kid.
Yeah. Like, you don't know what the fuck is funny about calling him the former vice president. That was great. And then he gets into a fist fight with Homer.
As Homer tries to release locusts into his house. Oh no, the best part of that episode was where Bart does something to George Bush and he rattles that can of spray paint. He's like, well, I pulled some pranks myself back in my day. And then he makes that banner of like
bad neighbor.
Yeah. And then Barb is like, so are we the bad neighbors? Who's the bad neighbor?
No, Barb, it's clearly them. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but was that actually George Bush?
I don't think
did
so.
The voice? I don't think so either, but it would have been great if it were.
Yeah, it took me a while to realize as a kid they're not actually being done by the real people who do that.
Well, nowadays they are, but...
Well, yeah, because everybody wants to be on The Simpsons, and The Simpsons will take everybody. Which I guess is exactly what they've done their entire career, so I don't know why I gotta bitch about it now. By the way, you're going through a lot of effort to go grab the, what is it, dwarf's axe or the giant's axe?
I don't know.
No, wait, that's on the second trip to the Tower of Babel.
I don't remember what this one is, truthfully. Like, this middle part of the game is more of a blur for me than the rest of it.
I think it's an axe of some sort.
I am getting molested by these enemies, though. Damn.
It's a tough place.
They hit a lot harder than I remembered. And the encounter rate is Arctic wind. God damn it.
Never mind, it was complete trash. All right. This is the cannons, right?
Yeah, so you don't need to go up
Why
there.
bother
and check
risking an encounter then?
Yeah.
Gotta beat those chimeras.
What was in the DS version that was so funny that like Rubicante said? 'Twas Lugay that made chimere of your parente. Did they tried a little too hard with the ye-ol language there?
And wow, you're right. Boy, Bio just destroys everything.
Yeah, Bio makes short work of these clowns. I gotta remember that.
Don't remember why I never remembered that.
Yeah, that was the line. 'Twas Lugay made chimere.
And that was not okay.
Hombre.
Now, what do you say? Let's go lay down by the bay. Eat some hay.
Just eat some hay. What
I
do you-
just may.
Oh, Happy Gilmore. Man.
Oh, thank you.
Heavens. God, that was one of my favorite movies when I was a kid. Which tells you kind of the kind of sort of childhood I had, but...
I remember reading a little while ago that I guess Adam Sandler is funny again.
Oh, yeah? You know,
Yeah.
he had some rough movies there in the mid-2000s, but...
Yes,
like,
he did.
If nothing else, like, he's like one of the nicest and like most genuine like celebrities that there is. And so like I feel like a lot of people, one, he was able to cash in on like all of the goodwill he built up in the 90s. But then two, like he had a loyal enough fan base that you kind of felt bad for criticizing any of his movies, you know? It's
Right.
like, yeah,
But then you saw Pixels and you were like,
yeah, that's where all that goodwill died. I mean, yeah, was Mr. Deeds quite as good as Happy Gilmore? No. But I got some good belly laughs out of Big Daddy. It was sweet.
well, you know, Final Fantasy VIII wasn't a bad game because it was sandwiched between 7 and 9.
Yeah. Speaking of sandwich, I think we've done about our quota of gameplay for this episode.
Oh yeah, and it's going to be a bit of a dry spell between this save point and the next. So
Well, I
yeah,
think
boy, that hour
I
flew
think
right
we're
by.
at Dr. Lugay here.
Didn't he make the Chimere?
Yeah,
Yeah,
twas Lugay. And next episode, next episode we will rid him of this mortal coil. So we'll see you then, Nick.
Yes, we will X-nay on the Lugay on the next episode of Play the Hits.
Hey.